Are you tired of umps blowing calls? Then welcome to On Deck, where you are the analysts. Covering all 30 teams from the MLB. One place where your opinion matters. And now your host of On Deck, Alex Figueroa.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of On Deck. So let's get right into it. This is February the 15th on a Friday. We have a lot of stuff to get right into, especially this Friday. There's a lot of news breaking out. But let's get to our curtain call salute because honoring Black History Month. So we're going to continue going on with legends, and then we're going to get to current players of the game today. But for this episode, we're going to do Bob Gibson. This is one of my father's favorite pitchers of one of the pitching legends, of the old days. And I'm going to play some highlights while I'll give you some statistics on this guy. I mean, he was great. So in the Hall, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1981 with 84%. He was 9 times All-Star. He was a 9-time All-Star, 9-time Golden Glove winner. He's a 1964 NL Babe Ruth Award, 1964 World Series MVP, 1967 World Series MVP. So that's amazing. 1968 NL pitching title, 1968 NL TSN Pitcher of the Year Award. Then he got 1968 NL Cy Young. Then this is the big one, 1968 NL MVP. I know a lot of people have a debate on the MVP. It should go to hitters because they're everyday players and blah, blah, blah. But yes, he won an MVP. And then he was 1970 NLTSN Pitcher of the Year, and in 1970 another NL Cy Young. He finished off his career. His career numbers were: wins was 251 with 174 losses, 2.91 ERA. Games 528, games started 482, and saved 6. With 3,117 strikeouts, with inning pitch of 3,884.1, with a whip of 1.188. So this is Bob Gibson again. A great, again, if you guys ever seen him pitch or ever seen old Cardinal games with Ozzie Smith, I think Ozzie Smith was on the teams. Amazing pitcher, dominated, was not afraid to throw inside, hit batters if they're too close to the plate. I mean, that's what you need in a starting pitcher. You need that determination, that grit, innings eater type pitcher. So yes, for this episode, our curtain call salute goes to Bob Gibson. So now let's get into the episode at hand. Now we got a long episode, and this one is pretty good because MLB are basically have proposed some rule changes coming within the few years, and I'm gonna tap into 2 for this episode because these are 2 big ones, and rightfully so, because honestly these rule changes need to happen. One is not because the sport is slow or at the pace of the game is slow. They're trying to tap into the newer generation, the millennials, in terms of baseball, because when they go to the games, they're all on their phones, and they're trying to make it faster for the average people. Again, I have no problems if the game goes 4 hours or 5 hours, because I like the way the sport is. That's how we had it in 1902 or whatever, when when baseball started. That's the way the sport was played. Why change it? Because if they're going to start doing this NFL stuff, you're going to start babying every player, then it starts to get kind of, like, what's the point of watching this sport? So the first rule change that they proposed was middle inning pitching changes. Now, if you watch, the actual rule is if you throw, a pitcher comes in and throws a strike, you could take him out and bring in another one. Then bring in another one. And it gets so long. I think it was a game with the Cubs where the manager switched out. I mean, I don't even know how many relief pitchers came in, and it was a long inning. I mean, granted, they were getting racked, But they kept getting in bullpen, and I guess the game went super long. And you have to do, you have to implement something because you don't want to deplete your bullpen. I mean, you have a lot of people there, but you don't want to deplete it. So the rule change is basically when a reliever comes into the game, he has a maximum number of 3 batters he has to face until you change him. That is good. That is something I am behind 100%. I am behind that because I get tired, and first is the advantage to the hitters also and the other team. What happens if you bring in a bullpen in a tight situation in the playoffs and the reliever starts to get racked? You can't take him out until he pitches the 3 batters. So it makes the game now more fun, and you have to be very strategic. Where the Yankees now, their bullpen is stacked, where they could go in the 5th inning if they want with their bullpen. Okay? They could go, I mean, with the Yankees, this is nothing because they have closers beyond closers that could pretty much close out the innings. So for them, but then if you have other teams that don't have bullpen, you're kind of screwed. Really bad. So that, I say yes. I give that a thumbs up in terms of rule change. I give that 100%. I'm tired of watching games and you go 5 or 6 reliever changes within the game. That's not cool. I mean, to me, that's not cool. That's boring. I mean, I enjoy it, but certain games, it starts to get dull, especially if it's like an 8-1 game or 8-0 and you're going through like 8 pitchers or something. Okay. Next on the list is universal DHs. This I'm not too keen with this. I'm not big on universal DHs. I love the NL pitchers hitting. Ohtani showed us that pitchers could hit. Okay? So what's the point? I mean, I understand people are like, oh, you're paying pitchers $100 million and they're getting hurt. Well, that's the point. You're paying them $100 million. So I want them to hit. I want them to pitch. I want them to close. I want them to go to 9 innings in a game in a World Series. Give it all you got on the field. Okay? No, they don't want that. They want universal DHs to give more offense. You know what? If you want more offense in the sport, then hit the damn ball. Stop striking out. Learn to hit. Stop swinging at everything. Stop these stupid launch angles that I talked about in episode 2. That's what you really need to do. Universal DH is not going to do nothing. What's going to happen? Okay, so let's say you do have the universal DHs on both. Is it going to speed up the game? No, because if you have a sucky DH, that's another guaranteed out, just like a pitcher. Now, if you got good hitting pitchers, which Ohtani showed us that he could pitch and he could hit in the middle of the lineup, do you really think universal DHs should be implemented? I don't think so. I'm against this. I'm 100% against this. I like old school baseball. I'm not liking this new school, DHs and all these rule changes. I think there's another rule change. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it in this episode, but it's the 30-second clock. Listen, a batter has to think on the pitching sequences. So why are you giving him 30 seconds to get on the plate and the pitcher has his routine also? You're trying to, what are you speeding up? I'll tell you right now, half of these players are going to go over that 30 seconds. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of fines going around because they try that crap. I think a few years ago where you couldn't leave the batter's box. And guess what? People were leaving out the batter's box. They got fined, but David Ortiz, I think, was one of them that said, he's going to do what gets him comfortable. So he got fined. Adrian Beltre, I believe, got fined also. But universal DHs? Really? I don't know, man. There's a difference. For me, it's strategic when you go to the NL. You see it at the World Series. You see it in the World Series when you go from the AL to the NL. You don't know who to put the bat up because that big bat in your AL DH spot now has to be in the bench, which is an advantage of the NL. Or you have to throw him on the field. If he sucks on the field, you're screwed. Like, again, David Ortiz, he had to play first when they went to the World Series during an NL game. So you lost your best first baseman defensively. Now they want to change all this. That's a strategic, man. Like, don't do it. Not my fault your pitcher pulls a hamstring going down, first base or trying to round to go home. Oh, well, that's the point. You have other players in the farm system. Yeah, but I know people go, you paid him $140 million. He shouldn't have been running down and statistically this and statistically that. Listen, Ohtani showed us last year that you could pitch and you could smack home runs, you could hit doubles, you could hit triples, you could run the bases without getting hurt. It's all about conditioning. Condition your pitchers. Don't make them do weight training, because weight training, you're just going to hurt yourself even more. Condition your players. I just say condition them, man. I'm not a guru in training, but just condition them to run. Nolan Ryan, was he he bench pressed 550? No, he worked on his legs. I bet he had his legs was like a horse. Tom Seaver, the same thing. They conditioned themselves. They went all 9 innings. Doc Gooden, same. Besides the cocaine, I don't know if that helped him, but still, he went 9 innings if he had to. Conditioning. They're babying all these pitchers. So, and now you're going to penalize the whole NL because they get hurt because they don't condition them and they don't go 7 innings and 9 innings. But let's take away that slot and let's put it on the slot. Look, I'm not with this whole DH thing. It's going to benefit the Mets, I'll tell you that. You put Cano in the DH and then you add another big bat. Good for the Mets. But you know what? Keep it old school in the NL, because I know a lot of people are going to go, you know what? They're going to tune out of baseball if the DH is implemented. A lot of old school fans. Maybe they'll suck it up for the first few years, but a lot of them will turn away from the TV. So that's my thing on this whole MLB rule changes. What they need to figure out is this whole contract situation with these free agents, because there's like 100 players still left out there that still are not getting paid because of this, and the whole sabermetrics numbers, and owners don't want to pay players. That's what I'm saying. Concentrate on that first before you start tapping into the game, because we lost collision at home plate, which was amazing. I love that when the guy gets ran over and he stays there with the ball, or he loses the ball and the game is won that way. Gone, because Buster Posey broke his leg and everybody started crying, oh my God, my MVP superstar is hurt and all this crap. Guess what? Pete Rose ran over, I forgot the name of the player, in the All-Star game and dislocated his shoulder. Did you see people crying and they changed the rule the next year? Nope. Buster Posey broke his leg. They had to change the whole rule. They took that away. You got Ruben Tejada from the Mets, second baseman Chase Utley slides in the World Series and takes him out and break his big bone in his leg, and they changed that ruling. You can't take out the second baseman. Man, that's the point of baseball. You're trying to break the double play. Why take that away? And that's what they did with these stupid rule changes. Stupid rule. To this day, I'm still annoyed at taking out the second baseman, taking out the catcher at home plate. Those are awesome when you ram people over. But, I'm playing $200 million player. You know what? Everyone that played second base, everybody that played catcher were big time millionaires. Back then it's not 100 plus, or, they got paid. And guess what? They knew how to move out of the way when someone's trying to come in spikes up, or try to knock them over, or just try to break the double play or home plate. They're getting rammed into the floor or getting trucked like a football player. Now everything's babying. Oh, you got to slide in this way. You got to hit the bag in this way. Did he touch the bag at an angle in a way that he could still, deflect? It's stupid. It is dumb. It is dumb. It is the dumbest thing ever. But you know what? That's what they did. Same thing with the instant replay. Instant replay was put in the sport for home runs. Then they changed it for foul ball calls, because there was one game in the Twins and Yankees in a playoff, one memorable playoff. Joe Mauer hit it right on the line. In a dotted line that was right there in front of the ump, and the ump called it foul when it was clearly fair. They added that was the point. Okay, fine. All of a sudden, these replays were for the guy made it to second base, he slid it, and because he popped out of his stance by a millisecond, they threw the instant replay and he's out. It is stupid. That instant replay thing drives me nuts. Or the minute you do anything, they point at first base. Oh, they do this. This. And the next thing you know, they're out. And they're like, they talking and they laughing. But that's taking a lot of time. You do a superstar play and the guy is safe or out. They already pointing at the dugout. Oh, no. He's out. Oh, he's safe. Oh, I didn't have that on the docket. I was just ranting at that whole replay baloney. But anyway, so that's what I think. I think I give it a yes for relief pitchers coming into the game and has to face 3 batters, and a big no for universal DHs. Let me know in the comments below which of the 2 proposed rule changes, that you prefer. Do you prefer the middle innings pitching change? Maximum of 3, or the universal DHs. All right. Next on the list. Oh, man. I don't know about you guys. We're going to get into the news around the league now. Like I said, I'm going to keep this like a short. Again, I love my 30 minutes of baseball talk, so that's what I'm going to do. So, news around the league. I'm getting sick and tired of Bryce Harper and Manny Machado talk. This is the last episode I'm bringing this up until they signed a huge contract with somebody. So, earlier this week, AJ Pillar, which is the GM for the Padres, met with Manny Machado. Listen, don't waste your time. Don't waste the jet fuel on your plane. Manny Machado does not want to play with San Diego. Stop it. Unless you're going to give him $350 million over 10 years or 13 years, whatever it is. He doesn't want to play for San Diego, just like Bryce Harper. That's why you haven't even heard nothing about Bryce Harper. He'd rather play for the Giants than the Padres. Unless money talks. So stop. All right? This is the last I'm talking about this, but just stop. He's going to end up in 2 teams. Phillies or White Sox. That's it. Yankees, I doubt it, and I understand that everybody's like, oh, he's talking... the Yankees, the Yankees are only going to sign him if it's less than $210 million or $250. They could afford $250. I guarantee you. That's the only way the Yankees will sign Manny Machado. Other than that, Manny Machado is not going to be a Yankee. Bryce Harper is not, and I repeat, is not going to be a Yankee. They have so much outfielder depth. Regardless if Jacob... Ellsbury got hurt with his foot again and he's out for another 10 years. He's not going to be a Yankee. So, the last I talk about this Manny Machado fiasco. Next on the list. This is starting a big controversy around baseball. Aaron Nola signs a 4-year extension at $45 million. This dude is an amazing pitcher. Great pitcher for the Phillies. Now, what's sparking everything is the fact that since he's a dominant pitcher, a lot of agents are like, whoa, that is so low for the talent that this guy had. Now, the question that we have here is, was he scared because of the market of this year? Which he said he's not, because this is not the first time he's not in free agent. This is not his last year for free agent, because he has like a few more years in arbitration. So the 4 years are just paying him off for the arbitration. I guarantee you, if it was up to me, he could have got a 4-year extension at 70 to 80 mil, because he has that talent. It's not like he don't. He has that talent. So for 4 years at, like I said, 70 to 80 mil, that's not bad. But for 4 years at 45, that's bad for players like Jacob deGrom and other players that are becoming free agents soon. deGrom has 2 more years on the Mets contract. So his extension is going to be nowhere near this guy's. It's not going to be a 4-year, $45 million. I guarantee you that. He won the Cy Young last year. Ain't not happening. But for other pitchers, this is a big scary thing right now. It's scary right now for pitchers. Starting pitchers. Good starting pitchers. Normally they sign like an extension of 85 to 100 if you're really good. This guy could have got that off the market, but look at Dallas Keuchel. He won a Cy Young and a World Series. No one is signing him. He's worth $100 million. So for this kid, and first of all, this is the first time he's seen that type of money. And people are going crazy. Oh my God. First of all, if someone throws you $45 million for 4 years, you're signing it. Regardless if this is the first time you're hitting the market or not. I will faint if someone says 4 years at $45 million. With the talent, let's say if I had a talent of, I don't know, I'm not going to say I'm like the best player ever, but Kevin Millar, just for the hell of it. I don't know. A medium guy. I would have signed a 4-year, $45 million contract in a heartbeat. A 1 year, $17 million. That's not chump change. To these players, it is. Some players, again, Bryce Harper turned down $310 million. That's the report. 310 years. I will sign that in a heartbeat. But anyway, he got a 4-year, 45. A lot of, agents and players are like a little scared. So, again, I'm not getting mad at it because, again, that's his life. You can't say you can't say no to that stuff. So, Aaron Nola, good luck 4 years from now, but $45 million, you're set for life, bro. Now, talking about pitching, and this is the last thing before we end the show. And I got to get this off my chest. And I'm going to do it, and I don't care if the Mets hear it or not. DeGrom needs an extension. Hands down. He won the Cy Young with a crappy team last year that couldn't even score for him. 10 wins. How you win a Cy Young with 10 wins? But you know what? His ERA was 1 point. I forgot what it was. It was like the lowest, I believe. And you come to tell me that the Mets can't extend him? First of all, you guys didn't sign nobody huge. And don't tell me the whole Cano and Diaz trade, because you guys didn't do nothing. Nothing. You just gave up salary to take back salary, which made it even across the board. All right? So you could afford another contract, whether it's Manny Machado, whether it's Bryce Harper, whether it's Mike Trout in a few years, whether it's Nolan Arenado next year, Paul Goldschmidt. I don't care who the hell it is. You have enough money to sign these players. You have to lock down your pitching. The Mets is built on pitching, not hitting, because you guys are past like 36 years old on the field. Only your outfielders are the youngest. Okay? Your infield are old. You got to sign DeGrom. He is your leader. I know everyone's like, oh, Thor. Thor is the second leader. DeGrom is the leader. He won the Cy Young. He rightfully so. He's going to be the starter, which I believe they say he's going to be the opening day starter, which rightfully so. What gets me annoyed is this. His former agent is the Mets GM. Right? Look at these stupid quotes that this guy says. The first thing is, it's too early to tell if the two sides are in the same ballpark when it comes to reaching a deal. I don't know. First of all, I don't even know how much I tell you right now, I'll sign him at a 5-year, $150 million contract extension with an option and milestones that allow him to get it so easy that it's a 6-year at a $150 million contract. So basically, you're signing him at a 6-year deal, but it's a 5-year deal with an option with milestones that it'll trigger once he hit those numbers. So he'll get the 6-year option working. That's what I would give him off the bat, $150 million. Granted, it'll suck, but you know what? You're locking down the future. You pay off his 2 years remaining on the arbitration deal, which he won this year's arbitration with $17 million. So he got a $10 million raise from last year, which he only made like, I think, $7 million. So you're paying off his 2 arbitration, and you're getting him for 3 more years. Okay? So what's the problem here? Now, mind you, this GM, which is his former agent, said a few years ago at the All-Star break, last year's All-Star break, if you're not going to sign him, trade him. And guess what? Now that he's running the Mets, Now he's trying to do this whole, oh, we're not at the same ballpark crap. We're still talking. But you know what? DeGrom said, I ain't talking past opening day, which I am so happy for. So you got to opening day to sign this guy. And if you don't, Mets, you're dumb. Because if I was DeGrom, I'd say, you know what? Now I didn't know that pitchers could basically give themselves innings rest, pitching. They could lower their pitching. They could say, "Oh, I'll pitch 150 this year, not 200." DeGrom pitched the most he did in his whole career last year with 217 innings pitched. He could go, "I'm pitching 140 this year." You're not signing me to a contract. I'm saving my arm for someone else. Are you gonna fault him? But you know what? This is New York. Everyone's going to be, oh, he's greedy. Oh, this, and that. You know, he's not greedy. I respect him. I will give him the contract. I'm not yelling at him for none of that. You know what? They don't give it to him. Please do the innings restriction to teach him not to do what they're doing. Do it. But when it comes to the playoffs, you know, how is that going to work for the Mets? But another reason why I'm a little annoyed is because right now DeGrom has all the cards on the table because he won the Cy Young last year, so he could demand whatever he wants. So if the Mets let him go without an extension into the season, that means the Mets are hoping he has a really bad season so they can extend him even cheaper. Think about that. Remember I said that. They're going to wait until he chokes and has a terrible season, and then they're going to try to sign him, where they should sign him now. But right now, DeGrom is holding all the cards with his Cy Young. And if the Mets do sign him this year, we'll be at 120. But he's going to want more than Patrick Corbin, because Corbin got 140, and he only had one good season out of the whole years he had in Arizona. So you're going to have to pay him more than Corbin. So it's going to be at 150 plus. Guarantee you that. That's why I say lock him up for 6 years at 150. Get this deal done. And then you can work on Noah Syndergaard and do whatever you got to do. That's my rant with the Mets. Again, I'm going to break down some division rivals. Next week on Monday, I'm going to talk about the top 5 teams that improved in 2019. Also, if you see on the graphic, you see Twitch. You guys can join my Twitch at afig007. I'm going to start playing MLB The Show. Right now, I'm going to throw some test videos of me playing with the new Mets team that they have now. Just me playing around and doing some funny commentary just to get ready for MLB The Show 2019, where I'm going to start broadcasting all my opening day franchise for the Mets throughout the whole 162 games. If we make the playoffs, signings, and all that. That's on Twitch. Also, you can visit us at www.facebook.com/widerangemedia. I mean, what? I'm so used to my other show. Facebook.com/OnDeckWebShow, or on Twitter at OnDeckWebShow, and Instagram on Deck Web Show. And again, guys, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe for more baseball news. Again, I'm not currently doing all the news. I'm just taking all the best news of a few days, and then I'm giving it my perspective of these news. And that's what this show is about. Again, if you guys want to talk about it, you can leave me a tweet, or you can comment below on YouTube, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I hope to see you on Twitch or on YouTube when we go live on Monday. Catch you later.